I could not wait to shower. That was the longest I've gone.
Facebook is
I
live.
couldn't help it. I missed that one.
Looks good.
All right, welcome in Boulder City. Thanks for joining us. I'm sitting down with Coach Bubba Mariani, and we're going to talk football. Coach, you just played Valley High School. You beat them up pretty well. How did you feel about the game?
I was very, very excited about the way we played. You know, there's going into the first game, you know, you're going to get a lot of kind of hiccups and stuff like that. And everything that happened that was a negative were things that you expect in a first game. And we were able to kind of look at and adjust and take care of throughout the week. But most importantly, it was fun to get out there and kick some butt.
Yeah, nice. I'm going to touch your mic. Sorry, everybody, for the mic touch here. There we go. Let's just do that.
There we go.
All right.
Is that better?
Maybe. I don't know. I have no idea, honestly. All right, so what were you looking for in this first game, and what happened? Did it meet your expectations? And give me your overall thought process going into the game, what you wanted to accomplish, and then what happened in reality.
I mean, really, we had talked to the kids all week and really all summer that coming out from the get-go, we wanted to put our stamp on who we were as a team and let everybody know who Boulder City is.
We're here to play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And for it being able to fall on a TV game and doing all that, it was even more special. And, the talk with the kids throughout the week was, we're going to let people know who we are. Right from the kickoff, we want to let people know, and we did. It was very important to me to come out and show who we are with our identity. It was a little skewed because we had some issues with some running backs that weren't able to play for us and stuff like that. So we ended up throwing the ball a little bit more than I wanted to, but that's what we get. We've got the guys, we're going to use them,
Yeah, no doubt. You came out with this super exciting offense. This was the offense that you implemented.
Yes.
And it looked great. I mean, guns blazing. First of all, we start off the game with the kick return by Brady Sorensen. What was the official yardage on that
I
kick
honestly
return?
don't know. I want to say 83
81?
yards, maybe, something like that. I think that's what we were around.
83?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The funny thing about the kickoff, that's the kickoff I ran in high school. That was like Palatine High School's kickoff. It's the only one we ever ran. We did it. I had a lot of success actually as a player returning kicks for that. And that was one of the things that I put in at Desert Pines. We ran back 5 or 6 kicks a year with that. And we put it in early, and I was very excited. And I told the kids on Thursday night, I go, I genuinely, normally I don't like to go and receive the ball. I'm a defer kind of guy. And then the coaches and Coach Dunnigan and Coach Bradshaw, and I don't even know if Parker even said it too, but they're like, no, we should get the ball. And I was like, I don't want to get the ball because I think we're going to run back the opening kickoff. And it was like, you're crazy.
Yeah, well, that was amazing. That was an amazing run. Let's hit the high points. Brady Sorensen, 118 yards receiving. Let me pull up his receptions here while we're talking about this, but Chase Jappy had a big game.
Mm-hmm.
Gage Hopkinson, the quarterback, genius. Really, everything looked really good.
Yeah.
And, of course, Derek Rinder.
Yeah.
Between those 4 players, and I know everyone put in the work. I was watching all the players. You and I had a chance to talk earlier right before the show, and Anthony Chavez put on an absolute clinic.
Yeah.
Come to Camp Chavez if you want to learn how to work the line. This guy was amazing.
Well, and it's great.
Manhandling this guy that was almost twice his size.
Yeah.
Impressive.
And he's one of those kids, and I told you last week, he's a grinder and just that behind the scenes guy. He's a guy right now, he's working with our young kids, coaching the offensive line for the Bears team and stuff like that.
Genius.
He is a good football player. You know?
Maybe we could fake Preston's age and get him back in.
I'm
get
all
him
for
back
that.
on the line. This guy's huge.
No, but the guy that keeps getting kind of left out on stuff too, that had a great game, but it was like a sneaky great game, was Easton Wellborn.
Oh
the
yeah,
other wide receiver.
Easton Wellborn is super fast.
But that's like the 3rd or 4th time where like it's been like, but that's the thing where we've got so many guys that you're gonna leave guys out when you're talking about them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You've got so much talent on this team, so much speed. Easton Wellborn, just moving across the field, he looks like a man among boys.
Yeah.
So does Brady Sorensen, the height that he can get to get those balls. Gage Hopkinson, his ball placement. Everything looked really good.
Yeah.
Did you work on all of that? What came naturally and what came out of hard work?
It honestly, the kids had the ability. It wasn't like we had to start and like send the quarterbacks over with Parker and be like, all right, teach this kid how to throw a ball. You know what I mean? They knew what they were doing. It was just giving them the opportunity to do it. The receivers were kids with good hands. They all ran really good routes right from the get-go. I think the biggest thing for us was them understanding, and this was something I was a little nervous about going into the first game, is the way our offense works. You run the routes, and what you do, if you do your job, you are either going to be open or you're going to make it so someone else is open. what a lot of teams end up doing is kids try to get a little greedy for the ball. So then they start to change their route a little bit, which means the guy behind them gets covered.
Right.
Our kids were very, very unselfish. They ran the routes they were supposed to, like exactly how they were written up. And Gage does a good job of reading and finding the guys and get it out to them. And they just went out to compete. But like during the summer, when we started doing all that stuff, they were just so open and excited about it that they've pretty much done it the way we taught them from day one, because they were so
Right.
excited to do it. You know?
Yeah, and Gage Hopkinson, let's talk about him real quick. He comes from over the hill, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, right. Is that right? Yeah, he comes from
We're
over
not
the
going to
hill.
hold that against him. It's
No,
okay.
no. It's great. I think I told my wife it's super smart.
Yeah.
I mean, he's over there in Foothill. He's competing with a bunch of kids. Who knows? I don't know what their quarterback looks like, but we're happy to have
Right.
Gage
Well,
over
and-
here. You know
and
what I
that's
mean?
one
And
of
he's
those-
getting his playing time here.
And that's one of those things that like we want to kind of put out there that, you know, we're building something out here. You know, we want the kids in town to take control of the town, you know, and it to be hard for people to come in and play for us. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We've got a core group of kids that are going to be good, and we've got the guys that are here, and then the younger kids coming up that we want to build on what we have in this town. You know, I think there's a perception that a lot of people think they can just come over here to play. It's not how it works anymore. You
Yeah.
know, we're going to have the athletes. We're going to work in the weight room. We're going to do all those things and build this program to where you got to be real good to come play here. It's not just I want to go play at Boulder City because I can't play somewhere else. That doesn't cut it anymore. You know, you've got to prove yourself here to get on the field.
Right, yeah, that's great. And look at our defense. I was impressed with the defense as well. A couple of safeties, I think we got.
We got one. We got one.
Close to a second one. I remember that.
Yeah. But no, and that was another thing with our defense. You know, we have so many guys coming back, and Render's done a great job with the defense this year. Dunnigan's been putting in his 2 cents, and they're working very well together. And you know, I didn't know what we were going to get out of our defense. You know, not having been able to have a actual, you know, just the scrimmage where the other team ran like the double wing. So it's just a mix of stuff in the middle. So we didn't know what we were going to get, but the kids played good. Their pursuit was great. They hit way harder than I thought they were going to, which was amazing.
Yeah, Derek Rinder, he has a natural ability to be in the right place at the right
Right.
time. Man, how does that happen for you?
No, he is a coach on the field. You know, there's a lot of stuff when we're in practice where, you know, Coach Render and myself and Coach Dunnigan will kind of be in the back talking, and we'll get into stuff where we're kind of trying to figure something out, and Derek will walk back with us because he's the free safety, so he's close, and he'll correct it. You know, we've got to do this, this, and this. You're not seeing this. All right, go for it, Derek. You know.
Yeah. Plays, let's just talk about them. A couple of plays got away from us. You know, we didn't stay in front of. We didn't keep players in front of us. What did you talk about after the game? Obviously, there's always something you can improve
Yeah.
on, even in a heavy win like this one was. What did you guys talk about?
In terms of defensively, like our game plan was to really take away their run. We were going to give them the opportunity to pass. You know, and later in the game, there were some guys that were open and they didn't complete those passes, but that's what we were banking on. You know,
Right.
I think seeing them play the week before, they didn't really throw the ball deep, so we were really thinking run heavy, and like we had been working run, and then when they came out and threw the bomb on the first play of the game, we were like, oh God. But I will give him credit. You know, Easton Wellborn, he was the corner on that side, and I respect him a ton for what he did. You know, he got beat, dove for the kid. First thing he did, he didn't even go for the go back by the extra point. He ran across to the coaches on the sideline and said, "I'm sorry, that's not going to happen again," and ran back out. We were like, "All right, good. We'll go stop him on the extra point."
Yeah, next play.
Right.
Play.
Yeah. So, but and going back to Gage, you know, I was super impressed with the way he handled himself. You know, I think Gage is a kid that is always going to rise up to the moment, and no moment's ever going to be too much for him. You know, it was throughout the whole team before the game. You know, I haven't been with these kids in a competitive situation. You know, I'm used to a lot of kids that are, you know, the hype up and yell and get loud and doing all that. And during all the pregame stuff, our kids were super mellow, super chill, like almost to a point where I was like, oh God, like, what, are we ready to play?
You guys know we're playing, right?
And at one point, Valley was on the field and they did their like Valley jumping jacks where they spell out Vikings. And it was loud. Like it was real loud to a point where like, I was like, oh God. And I'm watching and I can see everybody on our team and they all just kind of like turned and looked at him and like shook their head. And I was like, all right. And then as we were getting ready to run out to the Eagle, like kind of looking at the kids, I could see that like stoic confidence, you know, like they weren't worried about anything. They were cool and they went out and played. But Gage is one of those kids that I think when the pressure's on, he's gonna be able to handle himself with the ball in his hand and make the right decisions and stay cool as a cucumber.
Yeah, he moves really well.
Very well.
He passes very well. We saw that. And his movement on, he got a couple first downs, if
you know
I
what's
recall
funny
correctly.
is early in the game, like I told him, I go, I want you to, because in practices, he's been taken off super early. You know, he'll get one look and then tuck the ball and run. And Tuesday, Wednesday this week, I told him, I go, listen, you're a pocket passer this week. I want you to stay in the pocket. I want you to throw. I want you to get comfortable with it because I know you're going to have time, but I want you to get used to that early in the year, you know, when there's real shots being fired at you. And after the first drive, he was 0 for 3, or no, 2 incompletions, and then we had a pass for -5 yards. So he came out the field, I go, all right, your legs work. You can run now. All right, let's go make plays. And from that point, he really stayed in the pocket when he needed to and got out when he needed to. And the thing that I love about him is when he's looking to run, his eyes are downfield, and at the very last moment, if you're going to break open, he's still going to be able to get the ball to you. You know, it was good.
Yeah, I saw that. That was impressive. How well did the team stay together? I mean, it was 8-8 in the first 30 seconds of the game. Did you feel like anyone on the sidelines were like, uh-oh?
No, not at all. There was, it was a roller coaster, I'll give you that. But I don't think anybody felt like we were going to a snowball effect where things were just going to start going. You know, I tell the kids all the time, you know, the other team practices also. You know, no matter what we do, sometimes the other team, you know, they practice plays, they practice defense. They're going to stop us every once in a while, and we've just got to answer. And that was the big thing. I said, you know, we've got to be able to answer when they do something. I was a little nervous because then we went 3 and out again, and that was our first 3 and out. And I was like, oh God, we'll see. But then we step up and get a safety. So, you know, and on top of that doesn't really come across in the box score or stuff like that. But a great punt by Brady Sorensen to pin them down at the 1 yard line. You know,
absolutely.
Those are things that we've worked on a ton. And, you know, again, our kicking game throughout the night it's been iffy. You know, at practices, we're like, you know, every once in a while, Brady will kick the ball 60, 70 yards. You're like, holy crap. And then the next 5 punts, he kicks it 15 yards. Sometimes they'll go backwards. You're like, what are you doing, man? You know, and same thing with with Victor Levitt, our kickoff guy. He's been struggling in the last couple weeks in practice, and both of those guys were absolutely lights out when the lights were on. So.
Yeah, definitely. Let's talk about the second half of the game. Second string comes in. I see you making some moves in the fourth. The second string, those guys coming in.
We really do have. We've got a lot of kids that need experience on the second string. That's one of the reasons why it was so important for me to make sure we had a B team and a JV team. Because I think what happens when you just have a lot of kids don't play football before their freshman year, then they're basically watching their freshman year. They get to play their sophomore year. Then the same thing happens with varsity, where a lot of them aren't playing their junior year and have to play their senior year, you know?
Yeah.
So that second group of kids, they're a group of kids that have really only had one solid year of actual playing experience. They're starting to understand what's going on. Now it's just a matter of getting them the hands-on experience of what's going on out there, you know?
Yeah, so just on that second string, I'll tell you, hats off to Charlie Stewart.
Yes.
I mean, monster sack. Guy played all the way to the end of the game. I love that, you know?
Well, and like that's the thing. Like we have a lot of kids on the team. We've got a lot of skill positions, but our linebacker core and our running back core, that's where we're kind of the lightest, you know? And Charlie's a kid that he played quite a bit last year, I believe, and he's just kind of been a solid kid for us. You know, he understands. He's taken that leadership role with like that front six on our defense, and you just trust Charlie. You know, not in a police lineup, you'd never pick Charlie to be a monster inside linebacker, but he is, and
Right.
he's such a nice kid, and he's super polite, and he's a great kid, but on the field, he is a good linebacker, and we will go as far as Charlie can take us when it comes to the defense. When he plays good, we're going to have really good games.
I like it. Who were we missing? Let's talk about that before we move on to next week.
We are running backs. That was our big hole. Josh Broadbent had hurt his ankle a couple weeks before in practice. He actually got cleared Thursday morning, so he was technically able to play in the game, but he hadn't practiced for 2 weeks, and I just didn't think that was fair to throw him in there, and he was still a little stiff with his ankle. And then Gabriel Ritchie is our other running back. So just some grade stuff. We should have him back in a couple weeks.
Okay.
We've been on him. He's been trying to take care of all that stuff in the classroom, and once that gets taken care of, we'll be good to go.
Right on.
And I think that's one of the things too that it's good for the kids to it hurts us, but it's good for the kids to see that the school stuff is important. I'm in the in-house room, so when the kids get sent for getting in trouble and stuff
That's
like
what
that.
I've heard, yeah.
And one of the things that we've said, you've got to take care of your stuff in school in order to be able to play on Friday nights.
Yeah, and it's been that way forever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's years and years and years. Even
Right.
when I was a kid, no pass, no play.
Right.
It's always that. So shouldn't be anything to get to, that you're not used to.
Right.
What about this coming week? We're playing Mater from Cars. I don't know.
Yeah,
Mater
I
Academy?
keep saying Mater. Everybody's like, how do you say it? I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's Mater, but I grew up.
Toe
I
Mater.
didn't grow up. My kids grew up on Cars, so I keep calling it Mater. We play them. They started off. They're 2-0. They run a lot of the same stuff we do. Spread stuff. They're trying to get the ball out. They've got a couple good athletes. I will say the one thing that's been a little frustrating for us this week is the film they sent us is not the greatest film in the world. The problem is they don't have stands. They don't have a press box. They don't have all that. So the film we got was basically from ground level. So it's real hard to see what we're getting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
I've been a little stressed this week because I kind of feel like we're going into the game a little blind offensively because it's real hard to see what they're doing defensively and
Do
their
they have
sizes and
uprights?
speeds.
Can they mount?
They do, but they're people come to the game this weekend. Our sideline, there's nobody behind us on our side. On their side, they've got only a few real small sets of bleachers, and everybody stands on their side. So if you guys come out to the game, you guys need to be real loud, because you're going to be right behind their bench. Be respectful, but be loud.
Nice. Right on.
But yeah, no, we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. We'll continue kind of doing what we've been doing, and then adding a few wrinkles and stuff like that. I think this week we can kind of do a little bit more of what our defense is going to look like moving forward. We kind of changed stuff up a little bit for Valley because we knew what they were going to get. But and then that's the other thing too on defense. We still have Mason Terrell. He he
I
hasn't
saw
played
him on
the
the
first 2
sideline.
weeks.
Yeah,
He's
absolutely.
got a little bit of a hamstring issue.
Okay.
That we probably could, if we needed him this week, we could force him to play.
Have you ever seen him hurdle? I don't know if he's paying attention last
seen
season.
him messing around with it. No, he's
He's a
good.
monster.
But he's another one that we've got him kind of penciled in to play some running back and stuff like that. So we had 3 of our guys that we're counting on to be running backs that couldn't go last week. So
Yeah, I wasn't trying to plug him for running back. I was just saying, have you ever seen them hurdle? I mean, it's impressive.
So we had him
watch
at
his track
receiver,
meets.
but him catching the ball is, he knows it. He knows it.
Put him at cornerback,
No, he's a phenomenal defensive end.
I bet he is.
And that's one of the things that when we get him back, we have him on one side and Travis Hess on the other side, and then that moves Sam Bonner down, and then we've got a couple big guys. But Cooley Campbell, I don't know if you noticed him during the game.
What's
Cooley's
the number? You got to tell me
50.
number. Number 50, yes.
Little guy. But
Yes.
he played his butt off, and Cooley's one of those guys, he's only a junior this year. He's one of those guys that he's got a big future for us because he's a high motor kid. He's strong. He's quick. He is a smart football player. We're almost too smart. There's times where we're like, stop asking questions. Just do what we're telling you to do. You don't have to do all this. But no, I'm glad that he got to play. And one of the things we had said throughout the summer was he was kind of going to be that third starter at defensive tackle and switch with Josh Kingma and Sam and Cooley would kind of give them a blow because they're going both ways. But because Mason was out, we moved Sam out, and Cooley got to start and played great, and he'll get to play again this week.
Right on, right on. Okay, so there's going to be some other shifts on the O line as well then.
A little bit. We've got to start working some. We've got a few key backups that can get in there. That we just got to get in, and get them a little bit of work. It was a weird. It felt like we should have gotten everybody in, but like we also, once we did get to that point of getting to the running clock, then it just moved so fast, and then they had the ball forever, so we didn't get guys the reps that we really wanted them to.
Okay.
I'm a big fan, a firm believer, and this is because of kind of the way everything went for me when I was younger. Our starters will always play into the second half, no matter what the score is. We're still going to come out, and our starters will go at least one drive in the second half. That's what we did this weekend, and then it just kind of moved super quick after that.
Right on. I like it. Tell me about your staff. How did they work out for you?
It was great. I've got to get used to flipping over to the defensive headset. I just kind of stood by them, like I can never click it over. But I think we were in a groove offensively. Oh,
hold on one second. What's going on over here? Oh, battery. Yeah. Nice job.
Sweet.
Our producer, Tyler, over there. Thank you, Tyler.
He's killing it today.
Sorry, go ahead, Coach.
No, it was great, and I think Parker can attest to it. There was a lot of times, like, I get distracted with the headphones, so I take them off, and I've got Asa on the sidelines, who's kind of ends up being my go-between between me and Parker, and there was, 5 or 6 times where I'd call a play, and Asa would turn to me and say, what play did you just call? I'm like, oh, we called this. He's like, oh, that's what Parker said we should call. Where we're not talking, but like we're on the same page with stuff, so it works. It worked really easy. And the thing too, we pretty much stayed through our game plan. So we just kind of went off the certain plays that we were kind of looking at this week.
Yep.
And, a couple times I was stumped and was like, I don't know what to call. And like Parker was like, let's do this, so it was very easy. It was very easy. I liked it.
Parker, are you want to jump in here? I definitely want to hear about what went on in the booth.
Yeah, sure.
All right, here comes Parker. I brought him a headset just in case.
Does he sit on my lap?
No, we'll bring another chair right here.
That's disappointing.
The mic should be good.
Got a big white beard.
I'm going to...
Headphones, or does he need?
Oh, yeah, no, he needs headphones. Hey, there should be a extra set of headphones right here, Tyler. Oh, yeah, they're right here. See that? I knew I put them in a good spot.
I just ate.
Don't
Like
matter.
a slob.
Let's see here. There you go, man. Let's see. You don't have a mic. Can you hear us?
No.
No, you can't hear us. Can you hear us now?
I
How about now? Can you hear anything now?
Yeah.
You can hear us?
I thought you were actually trying to say something.
Can you hear us in the headphones?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Good. All right, Parker. Tell us about the game. You're up in the booth. If you guys don't know, Parker Reynolds, former quarterback of the Eagles, now an assistant coach. And I've talked with Parker before. It's like talking to the Rain Man of football.
Yeah.
He starts droning on, and then you just kind of check out, like, I don't know where he's talking about anymore. What did it look like up in the booth, Parker? Tell me what you saw.
It was really good. I was able to see more of the sideline than the other coaches, and it was really great to see all the other kids were so fired up, like they were actually in the game, and that was something I feel like we've missed at Boulder for a couple of years. Like there's no energy on the sidelines, or there's no excitement, and there was a lot of that this past Thursday.
Right on. Yeah, good. Did you feel that this team is competitive against your team? You think your team would just kick their butts?
I think they'd give us a run for our money.
Nice,
but,
all right.
We've got a better quarterback now.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's not true.
What did you think about Gage's performance?
I thought Gage played his butt off. That first drive, it was kind of rough, and he came to the sidelines, and I was able to put a headset on him and talk to him and just kind of quiet him down and calm him down. And in that next drive, for the rest of the game, he just played lights out. Like, it wasn't even like none of the coaches were there. He could have called his own plays, and still thrown for 5 touchdowns.
Did he do any of that? Was there any audible plays at the line this past game?
They did. I think they did twice, and they screwed it up both times. But
There
there was just a little miscommunication,
Yeah, it's all
and
good.
it wasn't on him so much as it was our receivers. But yeah, no, that was kind of one of. What was I just gonna say? You were talking about. He was.
Lighting it up, could have called his own plays.
Yeah, I don't remember.
He was lights out.
He just he was solid. There was no hesitation. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. That first drive where we had the 2 incompletions early, those were both 2 very good balls that Brady's gonna come down with those kind of jump balls at least 60% of the time. He just didn't do it on that one.
Right.
And then the other one, he made a great read, put a good ball, and we dropped the ball. You know what I mean? So, I talked to him earlier and told him, don't worry about making mistakes. Go play. You're not going to throw an interception. I'm not going to yell at you for throwing an interception. You know what I mean? Just go out there, make the plays, make the right reads, and then we'll be fine from there. And he did.
How much of the playbook did you guys have available this past week? What did you use? Have you implemented the whole playbook, or they're still learning stuff?
We have implemented probably. Okay, let's put it this way. We ran probably about 15 to 20% of what is in our playbook, but that's what we had gone to this week. If we needed to, we could have pulled up some other stuff, but we definitely put in more stuff today.
Right on. Is he on camera? Is Coach on camera? Okay, right on. So let me ask you another question then. Is that typical every week? You're only coming about 20-25% of the playbook, or is everything available? How does that work?
I'm a big fan of kind of and this is part of why I felt a little naked going into this week. Last week, we really had 7 or 8 plays that we were we can gain yardage on these plays. These are the chunk plays. We can go to these at any point. So we'll kind of have a game plan of these, 4 or 5 run plays, 6 to 8 pass plays that we really want to look at. But then if something goes wrong, we've got the whole playbook that we can pull from if we have to. You know what I mean? So we've got a lot in. A lot.
So we don't have much video, but what do we know about Mater? Do you know Mater pretty well?
I don't.
Parker? No?
I don't know. Gosh, that film is just so bad. I just can't watch it. No, they definitely have some athletes on their team. They're coached pretty well. I just think it's going to be a good one. I think our guys, if we do what we're supposed to do, we're going to beat them.
Right on. Tell me who stood out for you, Parker. Who did you really look at and say, wow, that was a surprise? Because we don't attend practice.
Right.
We don't know who's made the most improvement, up until game day. Why don't you guys tell me who you guys thought that was?
I'm a little biased. I'm going to say my quarterback. Mm-hmm. I thought he played phenomenally well. I was expecting him to have a good game, but not as great of a game that he had. He played phenomenally, and I couldn't be any more proud of him.
Right on. Sounds great.
I think
Good job, Gage.
I think for me, it was kind of across the board, because I haven't seen these kids in a game situation, so even in practice, everybody's going hard, but it's not 100%, and everybody was flying around. The routes were faster, the routes were crisper, the blocks were, more intense. The defense was a huge surprise to me with how well they were flying around. That was something that I didn't know. We've had to yell them at practice because the ball goes the other way and those 5 guys on one side just sit and watch, And we had 7 or 8 tackles where our defensive end on the other side and our outside linebacker or, safety on the other side were on this sideline making plays. I was super impressed with everybody. I could not be more pleased with how much they turned it on,
Yeah. Man, well, listen, I'm super proud of you guys, too. The Coach Bubba era has begun, and you kicked it off with a hell of a win. Parker, great play calling. Oh, that's a good question. How much was Parker and you, who was calling the plays, and how much did you guys depend on each other to go through that?
I think Thursday night was weird because I'm not gonna lie. There's a little bit of just a kind of blackout and go for me. You know what I mean? Like the excitement, and it wasn't nerves. It was just like trying to not get distracted with all of the other stuff in the first game. That I really felt like I was like zoned in and just started going, and it got to a point where, you know, we would talk a little bit in between of like what stuff should we be doing, but then we just started rolling with it, you know, and that won't be the case all the time. You know, there's just times where being on the field, you can't see everything, you know, and I felt like weirdly on Thursday I could, you know, and I know that that's not going to be the case. And then that's when we're going to go with him, you know, and we'll get to a point too where we've talked about where I tried to give you a drive and then I handed off my headset and I just started calling plays anyway. But, you know, we'll get him there. Baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps. What came about with regard to superstitions we talked about last week? Did anything pop out in your mind? It's like, all right, we're going to do that every week.
So I've always, ever since I've been coaching and when Asa started coming to games with me, I've taken a pregame selfie with him. All right. So I kind of forgot about it. And Asa reminded me, he was like, Dad, we didn't do the picture. I was like, oh God. And it was right before we walked down to the Eagle and I was standing in front of all of the kids. I was like, all right, let's do it. And I took one with just Asa. And all of the captains were like, oh, thanks, coach. We don't get to be in the picture. And I was like, all right, let's do another one. So like we did it and all the kids are in the background. So I think that's something we'll have to do now every week. And then I did my subway and I ran into Derek and Easton and Brady. And I was like, so we'll do that every week now? And they're like, yeah, we have to go get Subway before every game. So yeah, no, that's the little things that I got.
I dig it. Did you get to Star Wars?
I don't know.
I was listening. I didn't hear it. I mean, I heard
I don't
Little
think
Shop
we
of
did.
Horrors and some other stuff.
It was funny. A couple of the boys asked me. They're like, it was. I kept asking everybody, "You having fun? Is this fun? Are you having fun?" And a couple of boys were like, this isn't like a party you planned, coach. Like, why do you keep asking that? I'm like, because I want you to have fun. Like, I'm having fun.
You're
Like,
like
are you
the
having
host.
fun? But like and then that was the thing too. Like after the game, my wife came down, and I think before she could even say congratulations, I was like, how was it up there? Was it fun in the stands? And she was like, yeah, congratulations. I'm like, yeah, but like, how was the music? Well, you know, like I don't pay attention to all that, but I did notice that it was loud, and that's what I want.
Yeah, it was loud. Thunderstruck was great.
Yes.
I like how you brought that in. The cheerleaders, I think, are still getting used
Yeah.
to when you actually say thunder in the song. Maybe they should listen to the song a couple times.
I told Miss Her, our student council teacher, I was like, before the next home game, it's homecoming, so we've got our assembly.
Mm-hmm.
I go, I want like 2 minutes during the assembly because we're going to go over the expectations for the crowd of that.
I like it. There you go.
Because that was one thing too that I was laughing about. I turned to one of the coaches, I think it was Render, and I go, people are acting like it's a Dodger game. The game's about to start. There's nobody here. What's going on? We got to get the students there early so they can get loud.
Yeah, I agree. It did kind of come in. Someone brought that up in the podcast. I think it was Coach Kragalici, where Boulder's notoriously late. That's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
So, we'll try and be on time.
I'm going to change.
Next
I'm going
home
to
game.
change the schedule. All the games are going to start at 6:45. for
That's
everybody.
a good idea. That's a good idea.
But yeah, no, and I was impressed with people sticking around. Like Thursday night, right before the long weekend. You know what I mean? There was a lot going on there, and everybody sticking out for the longest quarter in the history of high school football was impressive.
It was a long game. Yeah.
Well, in that first quarter, when the buzzer rang to end the first quarter, we had kids that started running into the locker room.
Thought it was
like,
halftime.
Where are you going? Like, it's halftime. I go, no, it's not. That was the
was.
first quarter.
What's that? 50 minutes.
Yeah, it was long.
It was long.
I realized it was long. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, you guys had a hell of a game, and we look forward to seeing what happens this coming week. We're away this week, right?
Yes,
You're traveling
yes.
to Mater.
Away the next 2 weeks.
Where are they?
They're actually right across the street from Desert Pines. My old classroom used to look down onto their field, and they used to randomly play like day games. So I'd be in class and see like an actual game. That was when it was called Mountain View.
Okay,
the high school
Mountain
then.
View. So you didn't take any notes way back then?
No,
Like, all
I
right,
didn't,
okay, here's
didn't
what
think
they're
about
doing.
it. But yeah, it's up on like Bonanza and Pecos, right around there.
Okay.
But yeah, like I think we should get everybody at the game, and like I said, everybody's on one side. Be loud.
Make it blue and gold.
I know. People were talking about, oh, we need to bring chairs. It's like, I don't think chairs are going to work. I think you're going to have to like stand and walk. You know what I mean? It's very tight.
Is it?
Everybody on one side.
Well, we'll see if we can make it out there, get out there to Mater, everybody, and watch the game. That's Friday night?
Yep, Friday night, 7 o'clock.
All right, 7 o'clock. And anything else? 6 yeah. Anything else? Did I miss anything?
No.
Do you guys want to plug anything?
I think we're good.
All right. Well, thanks to Vinny's again for hosting us. And let's see. Do I have any announcements? I don't think so. I think everyone's knows about the student athlete nominations. If you want to hear someone on the podcast, shoot me a message on Instagram. Podcast coming out tonight. You know, everything's pretty normal.
And I think now we're officially in the group. I think we can start inviting more and more people. I'll let the players come now.
Yeah, so they're going to be rowdy. That's cool. Yeah, it's fun in here, you know. People trying to enjoy their nice dinner. Not last Tuesday night for that, I guess.